That's all right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would take your conversations out or cease, please. Apologize for the noise up above. Good evening and welcome to the Waterloo City Council Finance Committee. Roll call, please.
Mr. Foyce,
Here.
Mr. Nichols,
Here.
Mr. Childs.
Here.
Can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as well as the approval of the minutes of the April 29th, 2024 meeting as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have an agenda. First up, we have travel requests.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the following travel requests. Number one is Officer Friends at the class meeting of Pat McCarthy's Tactical Street Crimes in Mason City from June 10th to 12th, an amount not to exceed $555. Number two is Jesse Garrity Collection Project Director Brad Manol, ICT Assistant Director Tyler Jansen and Justin Essling, Maintenance Mechanic Andy Bedard, Treatment Operator Foreman Nolan Rasmussen, Waste Water Operator Jeremy Even, Waste Water Operator, and that's for the IAWEA Annual Conference, Iowa City, June 4th through 6th for $3,640. Number three is Sergeant Ludwig and Officer Walter, and that is the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau Conference in Ankeny from June 6th to 7th, amount not to exceed $472. Four is Sergeant Pohl and Officer Watson, and that's for National Law Enforcement Training on Child Exploitation in Atlanta, Georgia, from June 10th to 14th, with an amount not to exceed $3,622. And the Iowa ICAC is to reimburse that amount. Number five is Sergeant Wilson, and that is for Understanding ISO/IEC 17025:2017 for testing and collaboration laboratories. Destination in Waterloo. It's online. From June 11th to 14th, and the amount not to exceed $995. And number six, Sergeant Wilson and Officers Whitmire and Hageman, and that's for Midwest Death Investigations, Ankeny, Iowa, June 3rd through 5th. Amount not to exceed $1,976. And Lieutenant Gertz and Officer Tyndall, that's for meeting RDS Instructor School in Bemidji, Minnesota, from June 2nd to 5th. Amount not to exceed $2,326.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have the pre-authorization to expend over $2,500.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to approve the following pre-authorizations to expend over $2,500. The first is the airport in the amount of $8,000, and that's for the annual lease of M20 rotary cutter and Z-Series mower. Next is for the airport in the amount of $2,695 for the replacement solid core doors, number two of them, for the new TSA office space and break room. TSA/GSA will reimburse this cost. Next is for building maintenance and that's for $30,600 for tuck pointing emergency repair at Waterloo Convention Center. Next is for engineering in the amount of $2,580, and that's for replacement of water service line from main to curb stop at 1214 Randolph Street that was missing during reconstruction. Next is for $3,200, and that's for the city, the city has agreed to pay the water main front footage charge for the property on Hammond. Owner and easement are on Orange Road. That is needed for Paradise Estates sanitary sewer. Next is for the finance department in the amount not to exceed $7,000, and that's for arbitrage compliance testing for general obligation bonds 2019A and 2020A. Next is for leisure services in the amount of $97,169.60. That's for construction by a 16-foot by 20-foot shelter and sidewalk within the existing park, and that's at Sullenton Park. Next is for leisure services, and that's in the amount of $12,500 for the purchase of Zamboni battery, along with installation of new battery and disposal of old battery. Next is for leisure services in the amount of $7,364, and that's for the Young Arena ammonia ice system annual preventative maintenance on compressors and evaporative condenser tower. Next is for MIS department in the amount of $28,673.31, and that is for application programming for revision of code enforcement and sidewalk inspection applications. Next is for police Department in the amount of $2,710, and that's for the annual software renewal of magnet forensics. Next is for the Police Department in the amount of $19,060. That's for 20 vest replacements for police officers with expired body armor. Next is for the Police Department in the amount of $25,866, and that's for 50 new rebranded Glock Model 45 duty pistol with red dot sight systems. Next is for sewer in the amount of $10,885.87, and that's for new HVAC unit needed for control room. Next is for sewer department in the amount of $5,000, and that's for used 2023 Benke tilt belt utility trailer for lift station mowing and to transport other small equipment. Next is for the traffic department in the amount of $20,251.60, and that's for cameras, licenses, and mounting. Next is for the traffic department amount of $13,529.50 plus $1,000 shipping and handling. That's for 50 Cobra head LED lights. Next is for the traffic department in the amount of $7,522 plus $500 shipping and handling, and that's for the flasher assembly for Congress Street, South Riverside Bike Trail. Next is for the traffic department in the amount not to exceed $16,000, and that's for personal protective equipment for staff. Next is for traffic in the amount of $7,001.18 plus $500 shipping and handling, and that's for street light replacement pole. Next and finally, we have the traffic department, the amount not to exceed $101,000, and that's for replacing and upgrading utility poles within the city.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then finally, for bills payment for May 6, 2024, that amount is $6,777,158.58. Make a motion to receive, file, and forward to the full council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, gentlemen.